Hi, my last video would be Hi buddy. You smell mommy. Let's do the girl who killed her siblings for attention.
Why was the McWad case getting compared to the
Oh, Orphanage. I saw that movie. It's awesome.
You might have realized that real life is often a lot stranger than fiction on this channel. In this case from the Philippines, which some have compared to the plot of the film Orphan, it's pretty clear that the weirdest events do happen in real life. Because even that horror movie makes more sense than what was going on in the lives of this picture-perfect family. Cruz McWad was a teacher based in Cotabato in the Philippines, married to Lavella, a principal at an elementary school. They had a teenage son and a daughter who was about to graduate as a doctor. They'd also adopted a 17-year-old girl who'd been living with the family since July 2021. On December 10th, 2021, Cruz was out at work as usual, but a bit after 2 p.m., he received
That was one last year.
message. There was someone ransacking the house where his children were. Cruz rushed home and even busted down the door to see what was going on. He couldn't get in at the front and had to go around to the back, but he saw a bloody blanket. To his horror, the place seemed to have been torn apart. But as he got further inside, shouting for his children, he found them on the floor. It was a dreadful discovery. They weren't moving. Then he heard someone calling for Mom and Dad. His adopted daughter was coming out of the bathroom. Her hair was still wet from bathing. She calmly said, "Welcome home, Dad." And, well, that was pretty weird because she'd never called him that before. But he probably didn't have time to even consider that because his 2 children had died under very mysterious circumstances, and the prime suspect was the least likely person he'd ever suspect of doing something this awful. It wasn't very long before the police grew totally suspicious as well. Before long, they'd pulled the adopted daughter in for questioning. But why? Hadn't she been the one in danger too? Just what the heck was going on? Cruz McWad had discovered the broken bodies of his son and daughter in the family home. Their names were Chrisville Louis, known as Boy, and Griswell Gwynn. They had suffered some shocking, disfiguring injuries. If you've already heard about this case, you've probably already seen some of the terrible morgue photos of how they looked. But I totally don't recommend seeking them out. Seriously, you guys, and obviously, I'm not going to show them here. They're genuine nightmare fuel, and were also very illegal and should never have been shared anywhere. I can't imagine what it was like for their dad to find them like that. It's so awful. But who had done this to them? The violent attack and apparent robbery was first blamed on 3 random men. The adopted daughter said that they had broken in to rob the family home, and she was the only survivor because she'd hidden away in a cabinet. Then the robbers took the lives of the 2 McWad siblings. Whoever had attacked them had used a baseball bat and a hammer to end their lives. Pretty brutal, right? But, like, the girl's version of what happened just didn't make sense to the investigators. She'd already posted to social media calling for help, but these messages had gone just as Mr. McWad arrived home. Maybe you can already see why they're having issues believing her story. Like, why on earth would she be having a bath or a shower when the bodies of her adopted siblings are in the next room? Really not something you do, is it? It's beyond weird. What's even stranger is that someone had already covered up poor Grizzle's head with a towel, and it actually seemed to have happened a few hours before the adopted daughter had apparently called for help. The weapons that were used only added to the mystery. The hammer and baseball bat had come from inside the family home, and only the adopted daughter and the parents had known where the hammer was kept. It had recently been hidden in their bathhouse. That's not exactly somewhere that a criminal would find it by accident, you know? As all the evidence mounted up, it pointed to one very unlikely suspect. Yes, that's exactly why the police brought the adopted McGuad daughter in for questioning. But who exactly was she? And just why was the McGuad case getting compared to the film Orphan? It's similar in one way. The girl had been adopted into a happy, welcoming family home. The two siblings had also been really popular, and it's easy to see why. Crystal was a part of the CFC Youth for Christ Church and was studying to be a doctor. She even reposted alerts about lost cats, and she seemed like a really wonderful person to know. Sadly, her Facebook page is now just a memorial. Her baby brother, known as Boy Boy, often danced with her on TikTok, and he always looked really happy. Other than a slight resemblance, I think the comparison to the Orphan movie is not accurate. But it did get this case a lot of attention, which could be good or bad. Not long after the siblings' bodies were discovered, the case went viral on TikTok and Twitter. Before long, the hashtag Justice for McGuad siblings was trending hard. A lot of public suspicion fell on the adopted daughter. There was a lot of anger that the authorities weren't publicizing the case enough. Nobody was being told what was going on, or that's how it seemed. Basically, everyone wanted to know why the adopted daughter wasn't already being charged. I mean, there are procedures the police are supposed to follow, and this kind of thing can take time to do it right. But despite the fact that she was a teenager and still a minor, the adopted girl's name got leaked all over the internet. And because she's a minor, I'm not going to spill that tea here. It's pretty easy to find out, trust me, and it's probably not a great thing it was so spread around. It's really not fair on the friends and family who were still dealing with what had happened, right? The authorities and the McGuad parents asked the public to stop speculating.
Yeah.
Get dressed to go.
Alright. Alright guys, I will see you tomorrow, so keep walking along and bye.